to Compliance Chronicles, where we learn from professionals shaping the world of compliance. I'm your host, Lisa Thomas, outside Privacy and Compliance Counsel, an adjunct professor at Northwestern Law School, and a lifelong learner of organizational change. From personal journeys to hard-earned lessons, these are the chronicles that inspire and guide. Let's dive in. I have Donna Del Greco from SciPlay here with me. And Donna, you have agreed to let me pepper you with questions about your journey in the compliance space. But first, I'm going to give you an opportunity to share what your current role is and your current title.
Hello, my name is Donna Del Greco. I'm the Vice President of Legal at SciPlay Games. I am a legal counsel to a social gaming business. We're part of a huge group called Light & Wonder. It's the largest cross-global platform in the world that does iGaming, land-based gaming, and social gaming.
All right, so we're going to learn a little bit more about what day-to-day life looks like. But before we get there, you are in the privacy compliance space. What brought you into this space and how did you get to the role that you're at?
My dad was a lecturer in IT at a university in the north of England, and he was teaching an IT law elective, which was many years ago, back in the 90s, and that included data privacy and data protection. And he used to tell me about it, and it sparked my interest in IT law. It was something I'd never really heard about. So roll forward the clock, I then went off to university, and I was delighted to find that they ran an elective in the final year in IT law. It's a fairly new area. The traditional legal fields, well, they didn't really appeal to me, and this just felt quite fresh and exciting. The professor as well was really engaged in the topic, and he was very thrilled to have a student that had a personal connection to IT as well. I became captivated really quickly, and there was this incoming 1998 Data Protection Act. The year in question was 2000, so it hadn't come into effect yet. And I thought it would be a really interesting area to look into because the previous legislation was the 1988 Data Protection Act. So I thought it would be good for my dissertation. So I came up with the title, The Impact of the 1998 Data Protection Act on UK Businesses, and would then work in various organisations. I was in private practice, but I've been fortunate since I've been in-house to work across the retail, fintech, energy and gaming sectors. And I would always show up and be the only person that had any prior experience in data protection and data privacy. So I've always since been the go-to person that companies have asked to get involved in this space.
When you think about being in the privacy compliance space, what are some of the most challenging things that you have found in navigating privacy compliance?
For me, it's always been working out what data is the organization collecting, processing and storing. And it sounds so basic, but believe me, when you're working in industry, it really is not. Half the time, they've got a very high level knowledge of basic, an email address and an ID number. You might have like a phone number connected to it, an email address, something like that. But when they actually start to deep dive into it, they realize they're collecting a lot more data than that. And it's working out who in the organizations you actually need to speak to collate all of that information sensibly. If you're working in an environment like that, you typically have a really complex chain of the data that you're collecting, processing and storing. Once you're clear on what that data comprises of, there's different values attached to it and different security measures that attach to it. And I think if you go to the worst case scenario, you have a data breach, information gets out into the public domain or it gets leaked onto the dark web. What can somebody do with that data? Can they take somebody's bank details, for example, and start rinsing their accounts? Can they send mass emails to them with malware attached, for example, and make it look like it's come from a legitimate organization? Understanding what you've actually got and how sensitive that data is, I think, is really important. The other thing which I think is really difficult is it depends which type of environment you're in as to what that data actually looks like. And in a B2B environment, I have found along my career journey that there's a bit of ignorance about data processing, and it's kind of educating people. I do feel that you're very much, when you work in this field, you're a conduit, and you're constantly having to sort of put together the pieces of the jigsaw, but also educate those around you.
I want to ask you if there's any key, one or two sort of really key things that you would give to people as advice.
Regulations differ across the world. If you're an international business, you've got to look at different jurisdictions. That's really daunting. You've got to be continuously educating yourself and collaborating with legal experts to help manage this complexity. I think the other thing which I find quite poignant is it's that balance of data security against usability. So you want to put in really robust data security measures. And I think as well, like, you have to have good processes in place, like incident reporting and breach management. So prepare for a data breach, hope it's never going to happen. Actually have a practice drill from time to time so that you know what to do with that. Another big thing, which I think is super important, is making sure like you're up to date with all current training, but making sure all of your colleagues are as well. So it's a constant journey. I don't think you ever stop with data protection.
Anything else or anything we've missed that you want to make sure that you share with people, again, either if they're new or if they're feeling a little bit demoralized because this is a really overwhelming job?
I think you need to stay really up to date with the law. Actually, if you build yourself a bit of a network of people that work in this space, have a bit of a network around you so that if something happens or there's a new piece of legislation coming in, I know what they're doing. How are they going to approach it? Because it is that age-old phrase of a problem shared is a problem halved. So you can do a lot just by talking to people. It's really basic and really easy. I think you should be aware of technology that's available in this space that can help you. And I think it's just building like a user-centric approach that builds trust with your customers, your ultimate end user, trust with your stakeholders. And ultimately your goal is to go about strengthening the organization's reputation and your own reputation while you're at it.
I love it. Donna, you've given us a lot to think about. So thank you.
Lisa, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute delight to talk about data privacy.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Compliance Chronicles, where we look for guidance and inspiration from the personal journeys of compliance professionals.